Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Delia Valles Rosales, and I am coming from Texas A&M at Kingsville, and I am with the NSF HSI STEM Hub. I co-host this webinar series along with Dr. Marta Desmond. I would like to welcome you to our first webinar of the fall 2022 webinar series, focused on celebrating and learning from successful NSF HSI awardees. Today's topic is diverse pathways to transition to a 4-year degree. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started. This webinar is going to last 1 hour. Today webinars, we have 2 speakers, and we anticipate from 15 to 20 minutes for questions at the end of the presentations. Any question related to the presentations, please use the question and answer box. However, if you have a technical question related to Zoom or some other technical questions, please use the chat box. Dr. Marta Desmond and I will be curating questions and reading them at the end of the presentations. And maybe, depending on how many questions we get, sometimes we have to answer those questions later in our portal. So you expect to see the answer to all of the questions in our portal. We expect to record our webinar, like you already check in there, and the recordings will be posted in our portal. And we really appreciate that. If you want to have access to those recordings, please join our network, and the link to join our network will be posted on the chat box. Please become a member, and there's no membership fee. Anybody will have access to not only the video recordings, but also the materials from this webinar and past webinars. Something that we really want to emphasize is that we have a survey that we really need you to answer. This survey is not going to take more than 5 minutes to get to this survey, and we really need you to do that because we need a feedback and data to report to the National Science Foundation to measure our outcomes. It is my pleasure to introduce our speakers this afternoon, and we have Dr. Doris Espiritu. She is a senior advisor to the Provost at City Colleges of Chicago. She is also the Dean of the Center of Excellence for Engineering and Computer Science at Wright College. Dr. Espiritu, she actually got a PhD that was actually in chemistry. Her background in chemistry, as a physiologist and a biophysicist, turned into engineering and computer science educator. She's one of the first NSF HSI research awardees for the project that is called Building Bridges into Engineering and Computer Science, which helps her grow the engineering program at Wright enrollment by 1,500%. Dr. Espiritu is a co-PI of another NSF program that is called CAFEX and works with the University of Illinois at Chicago. And she is actually working with them on another project that is funded by the DOE, the Department of Energy, in Energy Efficiency Project. Dr. Espiritu has been founded 7 chapters of the national organizations building, specifically including the Society of Hispanic Engineers at Wright, at the Wright chapter, and is also a member of the CHIP, which is the Society of Professional Engineers Advisory Committee. Dr. Doris is also a co-PI or co-chair of the Community College Action Network Group Linkages, and it is a $50,000 coalition. $50,000 coalition. She is currently the senior advisor to the Provost at City Colleges of Chicago and Dean of the Center of Excellence for Engineering and Computer Science at Wright College, where she does research, designs, implements, and assess practices that develop belonging and self-efficacy to increasing diversity in engineering and computer science. Dr. Espiritu successfully developed the contextualized bridge lift students' preparation and prepares them for calculus, and she developed the holistic and programmatic approach for transfer program. This essentially eliminates barriers for transfer students. Our second speaker is Dr. Par Mohammadian, and she is a professor at Los Angeles Mission College. She is a professor of life sciences at Los Angeles Mission College. Her passion to support her students to succeed resulted in being awarded multiple grants. Dr. Mohammadian is currently serving as the PI and co-PI of 2 National Science Foundation grants. The first National Science Foundation grant, ATE grant, prepares veterans and incumbent workers for jobs in biotechnology and assists them in gaining employment. The second grant, which is the HSI grant, aims to enhance undergraduate STEM education and build capacity. The project aims to increase the success and transfer rates among biology students. Dr. Mohammadian holds a master's degree in pharmaceutical sciences, and her PhD is in human biology. This afternoon, we welcome Dr. Espiritu and Dr. Mohammadian to be our speakers, and thank you for being with us this afternoon. And please go ahead and share your slides, please. And I'm here just to make sure that everything works well.
Thank you so much, Delia. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me today. My name is Par Mohammadian. I'm a professor and the vice chair of the Department of Life Sciences at Los Angeles Mission College. As Delia said, this is as a result of an NSF HSI grant that we were awarded about 4 years ago. The topic of my presentation today is a holistic approach to close the equity and achievement gap. Before I start with the presentation, I want you to learn more about our campus. Los Angeles Mission College is located in Silmar, California. We're up here, which is within the Los Angeles County in California. And you're one of the 9 colleges within the Los Angeles Community College District, which is one of the largest districts nationwide. And our campus obviously is a public 2-year community college. And I also want to introduce you to our students. We had in spring 2022, the enrollment was about 8,686. As you can see, a relatively small college. The majority of our students, over 60%, are female students, and over 74% are Hispanic. And when you also look at the unique load, I always bring that present the unique load, because that is an indication as far as how much our students need to work while going to college. So over 60% of our students are part-time, meaning they take only 6 units, below 6 units. And this is already a sign for us to really make sure that we retain the students. Also, the majority of our students are first generation students, and many are also unprepared in English and math. So before we started this grant 4 years ago, I've realized that we have so many STEM majors. There are so many students who enroll on our campus and they declare their major as being STEM. And then when we look at the transfer numbers, they're very low. And so the problem was, we were trying to find out what are the issues. So my focus was in being a biology faculty, a life science faculty. My focus was mostly in the biological sciences. So the major goal of our grant was really to increase the number of transfer students among biology students. And one of the major problems that we identified was that a lot of students can't get into calculus, or as you all know, in the STEM fields, we know that calculus class is a requirement for the STEM majors to transfer or complete their degrees. So in order to support the students, and unfortunately, we also have noticed that a lot of students failed their college algebra and trigonometry courses that are prerequisites for the calculus classes. So our idea was really to think about how we can support our students. With the help of our math faculty and other biology faculty, we prepared supplemental materials in college algebra and trigonometry, but contextualized, meaning we tried to find application. Problems that we used in those materials were related to biology, so that students would really connect with the problems and math. And the idea was also to use these supplementary materials during weekly workshops. So students would attend the weekly workshops, and then we would use these supplemental materials, and while they're being enrolled in college algebra and trigonometry. And in fact, if you're interested in those supplemental materials, this is a Q&R to our website. Feel free to download those supplemental materials. We also have some posts on academic success, basic study skills. So they're all on our website for you to use. So as I said, we started pre-pandemic, everything was great. And we had our grant and we had our goals. So we started working on our supplemental materials. We prepared them and we were ready to start with our workshops. And this is what happened. So, and you all have, obviously, we all been through the same problems. We had, we ended up having the pandemic. And a lot of our students at the colleges, we all moved online. We were all virtual. And a lot of students ended up having mental health related issues, which was very obvious. And, they were worried about the health of themselves, their family members. They had issues related to financial issues, feeling insecure. I remember even in one of my classes, I was asking my students to write their long-term goals. You usually ask, what are your short-term goals, long-term goals? And one of my students, she was African-American, she raised her hand and said, you know what, I don't know what's gonna happen to me when I leave my house right now today. So I can't even come up with a 5-year goal. And, it was heartbreaking. So obviously there are social aspects, there are mental aspects that went along during the COVID time, during those 2 years. So, and we all know those are barriers to completion. The transfer, retention, success, obviously all these rates suffered during that time, and it wasn't a priority. So what we had to do, besides all the academic support that we were planning on offering and supporting our students with, really think about their mental health. What is it that they need? Basic need support. Some of them, they didn't even have access to food. So we went back to the program officer, wonderful officers at NSF, very supporting of any changes that are needed to be done. Obviously, the goals were still the same, but the approach was different. So we had 3 aspects. Originally, when we started, we had just the academic aspect, and then we added the professional and social emotion. So the workshops were part of the grant. We went back to the program officer and we asked for some of our funds to be reallocated to pay our biology faculty to serve as mentors. They would be part of the social emotional aspect, community building, and also career related activities. I'm going to talk more about all of these activities. And then some of our funds were also, we asked to be used for summer research. So obviously we had to work with different departments to make sure that students have access to vaccinations, access to technology, basic needs, mental health support. And on our end, we helped the students virtually, offering tutoring. Obviously not all of them very happy. I mean, try to imagine supporting students in math or even sciences or teach science labs virtually. So it was very challenging for all of us, as you can imagine. But we kept on going and we kept a positive attitude. And we started also offering summer and winter math academies. And this is, for example, this is a schedule of a summer math academy to assist the students. So we've noticed that even though we have these supplemental materials and workshops, students still not ready when they start the college algebra and trigonometry. So we started having, we went back to the program officer and we asked to add a winter academy, summer academy before these classes start. So we went virtually. And by the way, we called it Math Academy because we had a focus group and they said, don't call it a math boot camp. For whatever reason, they didn't like the term boot camp. So we focused more on the term academy. So the academy is either 4 weeks or 5 weeks, twice a week for 3 to 5, about three hours. They come to the campus in the summer or in winter. And what we do, we teach them or we support them with some basic mathematical concepts. And in order also to make sure that they still are connected to the sciences, so in the middle of the sessions here, as you can see, we help with the reading. So I usually have a workshop with them on reading apprenticeship. I work with them on math anxiety. We know math anxiety is real. I work with them on growth mindset. And then we also have some science faculty that give a demo. So we will take them to the science labs for them to give a demo and, just also a variation in the math concept so that they are not just focusing on math. There's a short break to do a little bit of science too. And that before the semester, before the academy starts and after it ends, we do a pre-math survey. We give them the same test and we look at the results. And I'm going to show you the results later, but we usually see a huge increase in the performance. In addition to the Math Academy, another thing that we had to approach during the COVID time was really to train our faculty at the same time. Besides the technological aspects, we also try to train faculty with the cultural aspects and math-related aspects, anxiety. So we offered math anxiety and reading apprenticeship also within our faculty professional development for workshops, and we also focus on culturally responsive pedagogy. In fact, we recorded some of these workshops, and there's the QR if you wish to listen, download them. They're available on our website. We had one was why should I care? Strategies for supporting student motivation through relevance, which was very helpful. Really, this is not only cultural, but also motivation in the sciences. And another workshop that I really recommend you to watch was the anti-racism in STEM. A lot of times in STEM fields, we feel like they are, these topics are not related, but they, again, culturally responsive pedagogy and how to incorporate. This was an excellent workshop. As I mentioned, also, we support our biology faculty to mentor our students. So those students who can make the commitment, they sign up, and the faculty usually help them not only with the basic study skills, guiding them through the process. Sometimes students are introvert and they don't want to ask any questions. So this one-on-one with meetings create an environment for them to ask questions, and that helps a lot. And I also volunteering also to help some of those. If we have extra ones and our faculty cannot accommodate a lot, I also assist them with the mentorship. Every year in November, we do also have career-related activities where we also bring in speakers and mostly alumni. They currently work in the field, so they can talk about their experiences while going to college. What are the job opportunities out there? Again, making connections to the field. And finally, after the doors opened, we were able to, again, this is going back to the program officer to make sure that we take our students to visit four-year universities. So we went to UCLA twice, and the first time around, we weren't able to go into the building, but we learned a lot about the transfer process. And just last summer, we went to California State University in Northridge. We had a tour to the biology labs, microbiology labs, and students were excited. One thing that we really, as educators, we have to pay attention and not to forget is that some of these students have never been on a university campus. So when we did a survey, we have realized that most of them it was the first time that they were visiting a four-year university, which we really have to consider when we write all our grants, because we're talking about first-generation students. And I was talking to a student, and he said, "Definitely, I'm going to. This is my first time coming to UCLA and a four-year university, and I want to come here. I want to do research." So it does make a difference. Summer research, definitely. So again, we had approval to locate some of our funds to spend as a stipend to award our students who could do summer research. So past summer, we were able to, at least one student and one faculty were able at the four-year university to work with each other on a research project. And this, as you know, summer research is for a community college student is a life-changing experience. And to be honest, based on our previous experiences, the majority of our students who went through summer research, they ended up pursuing to get their master's degree and also their PhD. The outcome, obviously, as you can see, the numbers are not huge. So before the baseline, we had 10 students, but it was a 70% increase. So we went from 10 to 17, or last year, 16%. So an increase between 60 to 70%. However, we are anticipating these numbers to go much higher now that we are back, and we have been going really strongly with these activities, and we are on campus. So a lot of times the counselors have been telling us that students are not taking classes, especially science and lab classes. Obviously, it's obvious, right? They're very hesitant about it. And also, if I may say so, we lost 2,000 students pre-pandemic. So if you look, so pre-pandemic, we had about 11,000 students. Now we are at 9,000 students. So in our community, we a lot of students have to work, and they are having issues. So we have to really work harder now to make sure that we are bringing them back to the campus. So our labs are now back on campus, and we are seeing an increase in the enrollment in the science classes. And this is yay. This summer, we came back again to the campus, and we had our summer academy on campus. And here you can see our physics faculty who is working also with the students. And just quickly to show you the pre-assessment and post-assessment results, obviously this is a huge improvement in the performance of the students who completed the Math Academy. Again, as I was saying, we really have to work hard to make sure that the community trusts to come back. They're not afraid of COVID. Some of them are still not vaccinated. So like even this past Saturday, we had a Magic of Science event to make sure that we had over 250 people coming from the community. We had science, one of our anatomy faculty here who looks like Albert Einstein, sorry. So we were offering workshops in different science areas, and we had kids, faculty, family members, to coming to the campus. Again, we are doing everything we can to make sure that we have the students come back to enroll in the classes and get them excited. This is one of our students, Stephanie. She transferred last fall, but I love showing is a short video. I love, and we still are in touch. I was her mentor. I wanted you guys to hear from her what her experience was about going through the process.
Hello, my name's Stephanie. I'm a bio major here at Mission College. My education journey was a bit unorthodox. I did not graduate high school. I started working as a farm worker at the age of 17. I finally decided at the age of 20 that I wanted to make a change in my life. So I enrolled in a GD program and got my certificate. Right after, I joined Mission College as a first-generation college student. I was introduced to the Bio Scholars Program and was really drawn in by their sincere interest in student success as well as their resources. Math was definitely a subject that I was afraid of, so I joined the Math Academy, and being able to meet people that share the same likes and also concerns really kept me motivated. They were even willing to give me a one-on-one tutor while I was in Vermont completing my internship, which Bio Scholars helped me get. The internship allowed me to gain lab and research experience as well as gain lifelong connections. I'm getting ready to graduate in June, and I've received multiple acceptance letters from different Cal State universities. I don't think that any of this would be possible without the guidance and support from the wonderful people at the Bio Scholars Program. Hello, my name's Stephanie.
So in conclusion, obviously, were the outcomes as we planned? Obviously not, but we learned our lesson. And we had to be flexible and make sure that we change our strategies to reach students. So the holistic approach was needed really to support our students to continue. The fact was that they had to come back to the campus and then making sure that they're successful. So I really like this image when I saw that on the internet, the importance of smaller steps will give us, so this is really the story, holistic approach, and also the importance of smaller steps. Thank you very much.
Ready, Dr. Espiritu?
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammadia. Thank you.
Let's see. Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, HSI Hub and Delia and Martha, for inviting me to actually give a little bit of presentation regarding the diverse pathways to transition to four-year institutions. And what's nice about it is my project, Building Bridges into Engineering and Computer Science, is actually kind of geared towards this, to give you a little bit of tidbits on what we do here. So again, thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone, from the City Colleges of Chicago, here in Chicago. It's really warm right now, it's 70 degrees. So welcome, and thank you so much for coming. So as Par as well, Dr. Muhammadian, I am also the first awardee. I said I am the principal investigator. I'm actually the only principal investigator on this particular grant, Building Bridges into Engineering and Computer Science. And we have this as the inaugural research grant for the National Science Foundation Hispanic Serving Institution program. And the main goal of the program is to increase underrepresented, and I forgot a little bit there of underprepared, not just underrepresented, but underprepared students to pursue and complete degrees in engineering and computer science. So that's one of our number one goal. The other goal is to streamline the two transitions from high school to community colleges and from community college to universities. And we plan originally of doing that by increasing student self-efficacy and belonging to community of practice. Well, we just did that. So our first goal was to create a engineering summer bridge program to increase the self-efficacy of the students. And this program is intended for students who are not prepared in math yet. So it was so nice that Dr. Parr actually started talking about, even in biology, math skills are really important. Can you imagine doing it in engineering and computer science? It's their bread and butter if you really want to be successful in these fields. And so the original plan of the grant, the original proposal was to include this engineering summer bridge. And so the first bridge, we received the grant, we started the grant in 2018. October of 2018, we have a little time to offer the first bridge. We recruit students, we do all the marketing ourselves. And so the purpose of it is to increase self-efficacy of the students and to enhance their math skills. So what's unique about this bridge program is we accepted students who are not placed in calculus because we need to improve them. And actually our population of students need up to 2 years. Let me say again, 2 years of math remediation or remedial math. So our original first bridge was offered in 2019 with 32 students admitted, and 31 of those students completed. And out of those, we did this in person because at that time there's no COVID or something like that. The math, the processes or the contextualized math that we add in here is, this is how we basically, let me rephrase it. This is how we did it. We asked some of our math faculty in calculus and look at what skills that usually students do not have that we can add something to it and create our materials that contextualize to these students' needs. Then we implement those, we create the materials, then we implement the program, and the result has been amazing. 100% of our students who completed the bridge eliminated at least one semester of remedial math. And I think that's amazing, but what's more amazing is that 55% were placed directly into calculus. And why is it that great? Because we actually are saying that we are providing academic equity here, and also not just academic equity, but financial equity, because if they eliminated up to 2 years of remedial math, 2 years of their life is saved, and they could potentially gain income as time goes by. Fast forward to now, this is almost 4 years. Our students who completely eliminated math remediation, this is really exciting, are now finishing up at the transfer institution. So we're talking about diverse pathways to, or diverse transfer to four-year institution. So for example, Rodolfo, he started needing 1.5 of remedial math, years of remedial math, jumped directly into calculus, and now he is graduating at one of the top institutions in the country, the Granger College of Engineering. Stephanie here is another student. She needs 1 year of math remediation, jumped directly into calculus, and now she's also graduating at Illinois Tech. So we're all happy. Our bridge impact was amazing. 55% of our students completely eliminated remediation. Now all 11 of them transferred after 2 years. 2 years from community college. And by the way, they transferred to our transfer institution as third year without losing credit. So it's all great and amazing, right? So we planned all the way through. We decided, okay, we'll do it again. And we did plan all the way through. But life happens, as Dr. Parr mentioned, at least she already preempted my my slides here. What she did experience is we also experience. We have to go through COVID, and all of us has to go through this, but I cannot say, okay, we're not gonna offer it, because the bridge program is basically incorporates social interaction, and the research is all about belonging. I don't really know at that particular time how to include belonging. So we did, of course, virtual instruction, but the belonging aspect was kind of lost. So we did a lot of things. We improved, we continuously improved. And so the basis of all our success here in the program and the grant is basically continuously improving, or continuous improvement. So we pivot, we put the remote, we do we generated a virtual engineering center. We really did design interventions that make students, that actually really push students to talk to each other, even when they're alone at home. We added math preparation into our chemistry bridge. And so we call this now a contextualized bridge. Why do we call it contextualized bridge? Because we contextualize our intervention due to COVID. We contextualize our academic support due to COVID. We also incorporated chemistry. And if you're looking at it, yes, it was a really tough situation. We have to add a lot more effort, but the contextualized bridge, now we call it the contextualized bridge, is still improving. As a matter of fact, we started with 31 students. As of 2022, we actually changed our modality. So now we offer the hybrid component where we do in person and also through Zoom. And our number of students, our completers, increased from 31 to 63 students. So in general, we enrolled 195 students in the bridge program. And then as you're looking at it, being an NSF HSI grant, 68% of those students are actually Hispanic. And we, as a program, enroll a very high number of underrepresented minority in engineering and computer science. So the contextualized bridge, again, with the incorporation of everything that we learned from COVID, it increased professional identity and self-efficacy of the students. Regardless of the pandemic, we were able to find ways to actually make the students still interact and succeed and go and enroll to engineering program in the fall. So we modify our strategies a little bit from high school using the bridge to now contextualized bridge. But what we find out as time goes by is that coming from the bridge, they develop belonging, they develop self-efficacy, but they still need a lot of support, especially for students who truly need intervention during COVID time. So we created and developed a holistic and programmatic approach for transferring. And this, together with contextualized model, actually increase a lot of our retention and increase and keep our students and keep on going. So the holistic and programmatic approach models actually published in the Americans in the ASEE during the conference in 2021. So you're more than welcome to look at the paper and how all approaches and all the barriers that we try to encounter and also to how to solve those barriers. So I'm not going to talk too much about the development of the model, but this is basically what's on that paper. It is complicated, contextualized framework that includes underrepresented, underprepared students, and then throwing them into or putting them into the contextualized bridge. And in addition to that, we just don't get them into the bridge. We do the holistic and programmatic approach, and then now we include our transfer institutions. We created articulation agreements with our transfer institutions, but then we realized that articulations really, agreement is not enough. It really needs early participation of our transfer institution, and that includes our curriculum alignment, because as transfer students, a lot of our students lost credits as this transfer, and that actually turns them off, or sometimes lengthen their time of stay in the community college, or as they complete their degrees. So we created all those, really looking at the intentionality of pipeline from getting them from high school to community college and beyond, and going to the university. So we modify our pathways and make it truly diverse. As you can see, we have 63 students last summer. What we did is we just did not include high school students. We now include non-traditional students. Students who come from the university and come back to us because they, of whatever reason. We also include students that are adult education students, students who did not complete high school or GED students. Now they have different access to our diverse pathway model going to transfer. As you can see, in this particular slide, I would like to also mention the pre-engineering. As part of the continuous improvement, our bridge program, which is supposed to be super successful, backfires a little bit. And this is something that you might ask, how did it backfire? 55% of your students jumped directly into calculus. Well, we have 45% left of students. And sometimes if you compare yourself with students or your co-participants who are very successful and you're not, then that actually, as our survey or assessment shows, that actually not develop self-efficacy, but reduce the student's self-efficacy. So what are we going to do with that? So what we did was we developed a pre-engineering. We call it pre-engineering, we give them a name. And then this year, we add more interventions to it. We created our own cohort for our students in pre-engineering. We give them access to all our belonging interventions. And what's amazing is I would like to guide your this slide to the left of the picture. That kid, the student here in black, is wearing a pre-engineering t-shirt, is actually a pre-engineering student and is now our student ambassador. And what's great about it is now he's talking to high schools about our program, and you can truly see that he truly feels he belongs. On the right of the picture, you can see all the cohort of our engineering, not all, but a few of our pre-engineering students that are now talking to each other, building that community, and really building that community of practice, which based on our research are really important for belonging. So we created contextualized bridge. We created HPAT model for transfer. This we continuously improve, and actually this winter we're going to offer our very first winter bridge. And as you can see, our numbers did not decrease even in pandemic. So fall 2015 is basically what my work with that I use as a pilot in order to get the grant in 2015. That's the pre-NSF grant. If you're looking at it, these are our bridge students. Even in pandemic, we get them into our tiny hill at Wright College here, took a picture and make them feel like they are actually welcome and they actually know their college. So something amazing happened. We increased our enrollment. And as you can see, our enrollment exponentially grow. In 2018, pre-NSF grant, we have 25 students. And as of fall 2022, our enrollment increased to 380%. By the way, our enrollment did not increase by just having new students, but by truly retaining the students. As you can see, our average retention, fall to fall retention is 92%. Fall 2021 to fall 2022 retention is actually 96%. And we're attributing the little bit lower retention due to the COVID time. But if you're looking at it, 75% of our students transfer within 2 years' time. That shows how impactful the Bridge program truly is. And the nice thing is, those are some of our graduates. I am very, very proud to announce that some of our students actually in the Bridge have already job offers from good and great company a year even before they graduate. So that's something that you would really truly see that if you contextualize support with, or even with any circumstances like the COVID, you're still going to be able to support these students as they go through really difficult times in life. And all of this made our program now recognized nationally because of for how we support students. And I would never be able to do this without the support of the National Science Foundation, who truly, truly believe that our proposal would actually make a difference in people's lives, and especially for increasing diversity in engineering and computer science. I would also like to thank Wright College and City Colleges of Chicago, our high school and university partners, to make all this work that we have intentional. And I would never be able to do this without the support and really the energy of my team. And I think she is here listening today. So thank you so much. And I would like to, we can talk about if you have questions, and thank you so much for attending our presentation.
Thank you very much to both of you for your presentations and for sharing your information with us. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon, and we really appreciate your support.
Excellent.
Bye,
everyone. Yes.
Bye. Thank you.